In today's video, we're checking out the Lawrence Petros 55. Now, this is Lawrence's take on a Fender Tweed amp, and that's interesting because there's not one particular Tweed amp. There's this bunch of Tweed amps that Fender made for a period of like a decade up until the 60s. Everything from the Bassman to the Princeton to the Tweed Deluxe. And this is going to kind of simulate what we really kind of know as the 5E3 circuit. I think that's what he's really going after. Very, very sought after amp. In fact, it's one of the most recorded amps in history. Everybody loves it. And it's done everything from blues to rock and roll. And today I'm going to focus on the rock and roll because I think when you think of this pedal, you think of Tweed, you're definitely thinking blues. Keep in mind, Bonamassa uses stuff like this, but I think Neil Young, I think rock. So I'm going to go through some of the settings I like on this thing. It's very basic. It has a level, a tone, and a drive control. But it has two other switches. A voice switch in the up position, it's a little warmer, a little fuller sounding. And then the HDRM switch, which I think stands for headroom. And what it does is in the up position, it's going to simulate the power amp distortion. So the amp is just cranked. And then in the down position is more of the preamp distortion. It's kind of the way I think I understand it. But more importantly, just think of it this way. In the up position, you're going to get a lot of mids, definitely very Fender Tweed amp sounding. At down position, you get a little bit darker scooped mid sound with a little bit more gain. So we'll go through those. What's in the rig today? Well, I'm using this Gibson Les Paul with PAF style pickups and a Fender 65 Deluxe Reverb with no reverb on it. So turn the reverb off since we're going for the Tweed sound. And we're gonna use the pedal as the sound with an SM57 mic'd up into my Focusrite. Here we go. So let me give you a sample of the clean. So I wanna show you why I like the pedal already, because it does exactly what the Tweed amp does, which is a little harder, you get a little bit of breakup, but then you get... And that's, to me, that's the iconic sound, is that when you hit hard, you... Reacts really well to volume control. Let's go ahead and just... See, when I think of the Tweed, I think of, like I said, that rock and roll, unruly, hit hard to get kind of breakup. So now what I'm doing is I'm setting the pedal to the highest gain I can get it. I got the drive on 10. I got the voice down, which again, give me a little bit more bite. And I got the headroom switched to the preamp distortion. So again, this is all the gain I can get out of this pedal. So now I've returned the drive control to where I like it. And if you notice, I left the voice and the headroom down. And again, because I want it to be a little darker and a little bit more aggressive, because I'm switching to a Tele, and the Tele pickups are not going to push the pedal as hard as those humbuckers were. there you have it, the LPD 55 Tweed style pedal. Now there's a couple of things that I think you might be interested to know. First, the port for the power supply can take 9 volt or 18 volt. You run 18 volt, you'll get higher headroom. However, something to mention is that it does not take a 9 volt battery, so you have to have some kind of adapter to use this pedal. The other thing is, I think I mentioned this earlier, but it's also made in Arizona, in the USA, right here in Arizona where I live. And like I said, Lawrence is a pretty cool guy. I'll put a link to his Reverb store in case you want to get yourself one of these pedals. I have to say, and I've said this many times, and I'll say it again, that I don't review a ton of pedals on the channel. I try to restrict myself to just the pedals that I'm super interested in, and maybe even just that I want to buy myself. And this is definitely one of those pedals because I love the 5E3. I love that Tweed sound, but it is a amplifier that is just impossible to get at low volumes. And this is probably the best version of that I've heard. And so that's why I'm recommending it to you guys. As always, I want to thank you so much for your time. Till the next time, know your gear.